Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast extra branch. William Thompson, welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. What's the crack about? This is take 2 of the podcast.
Take 2 because someone forgot to press record.
It's like the big man's not a professional podcaster, apparently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no producer here.
I know, we can't all pay someone $1,000 a month to just sit there and be like, you're a bit too loud. You know what I mean? That's the extent of it. Just like you might as well be standing there like on a film set with like a boom mic and just be standing there with a big pole.
Yeah.
Louder, stand a bit closer.
If I could pay someone just to upload it for me, I'm a lazy bastard. I would do that.
The upload button is like, because I know you've got a podcast now called Our House with William Thompson.
Yes.
That was called. So that's how many episodes in now? 5 or 6 episodes in, something like that.
I think we're coming up to the 8th one.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Sorry, I didn't research.
It's fine. No, it's. I'm not even sure. It could be 7. I don't fucking know. I am not keeping count.
Yeah. How do you find the whole? Not the actual podcasting aspect of it, but the whole admin side of it, you know, the behind the scenes RSS feeds and all that shit.
I just use Spreaker.
Right.
So you pay £6 a month and it does it for you. It generates your feed. And I was like, I'd rather pay that £6 than fuck about and do it because I am extremely unorganized, extremely lazy, and can't be bothered with a lot of computer stuff. So
yeah.
It's perfect.
It's deceptively melty. I was on Spreaker, like it was like an extra thing, but it wasn't really doing much for me. So I kicked off on SoundCloud, and then, you know, when you're like naive as a podcaster, and people are like, "Well, how can I listen to it in Spotify? How can I get it in Apple Podcasts?" And you're like, "I don't fucking know." Do you know what I mean? I thought, I didn't realize you could have a feed, and as soon as you put it on your SoundCloud or your Spreaker, it flies out.
It goes to everything,
everything else. But see, even doing that, like having to submit it to Apple and then they have to approve it, and your artwork has to be a certain like amount of resolution and certain pixels and size, and you're just like, I don't know, man. It's just clip art as my logo, and you know what I mean? For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. Huh?
For me, it's like you forget how lazy people are these days. Like they won't even click a link. They'll be like, you gave it straight to me, or I'm not watching it at all. So even if you went, here's how you do it, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
You have to literally do it for them.
I think that's obviously something you must know a lot better than I would about the whole, putting out online content and putting out videos. You think back in the day on your Facebook, you would have to put a YouTube link on your Facebook page and people could have to click on the link to even see what it was. Whereas now, dare I say it, the video would need to play automatically for people to even give it a chance. If there's a link now, unless it's like
it'll need to play automatically. Yeah, it'll need to play automatically and be funny within the first 10 fucking seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And for people to care.
Yeah. And it's mad now in terms of, I think it's just generally because of like Netflix and the fact that your phone can do fucking everything now. And I find this myself, this is me being arrogant, but like my attention span is dick now for anything. See people going, did you watch Making a Murder? Nope. I got like an episode in and I was sleeping, and it wasn't anything against that show, but it's just, I don't have the attention span anymore. So when I watch anything, I'm on IMDb about 2 minutes in going, what was that content? He was in Emmerdale. And then he did an episode of Casualty as well. Oh, I can relax now. I have I can't. And then even like Making a Murder and then Tiger King, and then people go, watch the OJ documentary, watch Chernobyl. And I'm just going, if I am going to dedicate my limited attention to something, it's not going to be for something that's going to bum me out, to be honest. I'm like, I'm going to watch Still Game or, It's
Only Foods and Horses reruns. Just fucking leave me alone.
Yes, One Foot in the Grave to fuck, and then just
Last of the Summer Wine. Fuck stick on.
Like, do you find that yourself that your attention span's gone to dick?
Yeah, I tend to find a lot of things people recommend me, I fucking hate. I don't like, and I have a really weird taste in the things I'll watch. So I remember people recommending Power.
Oh yeah, with
the 50 Cent one.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, Smecks love that. Fuck it, think it's the greatest show ever fucking made.
Yeah.
I tried watching it, and one of the guys in it who's white speaks like a black guy. And 5 minutes, I went, I can't watch a series where he's speaking like that.
Yeah, that's painful. Painful.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'll find a series I like and watch that about 40 times, and when it's over, you just put it right back to the start. That's what I do.
I'm the same, man. I think I've watched like Still Game, The Royal Family, Phoenix Nights, and Gavin and Stacey.
I've never seen Phoenix Nights.
It's good, man, but because Peter Kay is so sort of territorial about his content, it's not on any streaming services at all. You would have to buy it or find like an illegal stream. But see, in terms of like Netflix, 4OD, none of that shit.
Yeah,
you can't get a lot of his stuff to stream at all. Like maybe Car Share because it's on iPlayer, but I know the stuff way anything.
Why is he not? I wonder why he does it. Well, maybe he needs the money. The fucking rich guy.
I know he must be skint. Like, you know what I mean? Fucking
yeah.
I mean, the amount of money he made.
Is food bill big enough?
Oh, fuck yeah! I'd say that probably balances it out. To be honest, you're like you made 10 million quid, but your fucking tab and fucking Dungannon fried chicken is $8,000. So you know what I mean?
9 million in Yorkies.
Gizzy Yorkie.
Yeah, that's what he reeks. I don't think he's the kind of guy who would eat like massive amounts of meals. He just strikes me as the kind of guy who just has like 40 bags of crisps.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Has it got the
Nolan style?
Yeah, it's doing the Kieran Bartlett workout video. I don't know, man. It's I agree. I think he's just inherently so lazy. It's like that vibe you go through when you're a student or just living in Belfast, where like I could cook and stop playing the PlayStation, or I could just get a multi-pack of something.
Yeah,
do that instead.
Where like, your meal is just like super noodles and a pack of Bernard Manning chicken. Not Bernard Manning, Bernard
Matthews. Bernard Manning is I bet you there's people listening to this who don't even have a clue who Bernard Manning is. Like that's old school. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Bernard Manning. Offensive as shit, but could tell a joke.
Yeah, like I haven't seen a while up, but I know my granda seen him back in the day at a comedy club in Manchester and had pints with him and all after.
Serious?
Which should have led to an amazing story there, but I've got nothing.
I thought something was going to happen there.
Yeah, I know.
No, I just had drinks with him, that was it.
Yeah, this is actually...
and then this fucking ran away together.
Yeah, like this should be called the Cock Tease podcast for sure, and just be like, I remember once I went to the Hatfield with Prince. But anyway, what about Brexit? William, what do you think? You know what I mean?
I was on a plane with Bill Clinton, and then it just landed.
Yeah, I was bucking at Irish Robinson one time. And then, did you hear about the white chocolate Twix? What's the crack there? Oh my God. It's such a weird time now to be doing anything. You know, I was talking about obviously your attention span and watching shit. Like, I've said this in many podcasts, but even now, post-lockdown is still applicable, where I'm like, I feel like I've exhausted everything I wanted to watch, wanted to listen to, any podcast that I wanted to dedicate time to, anything, even in terms of like any workouts and stuff. And I know you've been sort of had a bit of a fitness craze over the lockdown, but I feel like now I'm just devoid of any ideas.
Motivation. Yeah.
Because I don't even think it's motivation. I just think if I could even think of something to dedicate time to, you know, I did so well over the lockdown. The flats and good, Nick. I sorted out stuff, no stupid shite with like my credit rating, and got on the electoral register and all that shite. And
are you only on the electoral register now?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah, big time.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't even really know what it is.
It's politics student inside me's fucking crying.
Yeah. And like I have no intention. It's only from a boost your credit rating to be on electoral register.
Does it?
It does indeed.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I don't know what my credit rating is. I assume it's abysmal.
I suppose they look back about 6 years apparently. If you're going to like buy a house or something like that, they'll look back about 6 years. I think if it's for like a general loan from the bank or some shit, it's about 3 or 4. But it could be wrong. You know what I mean?
I'm still fucked. I'm still fucked.
Either way.
I'm too young to give a shit about this sort of thing. I don't care.
Yeah, you're just down on whiskey and eating your fucking Bernard Manning turkey burgers.
Bernard Manning chicken. I wish I was drinking whiskey. I haven't drank in fucking months.
Well, apart from the gig we did for Colin.
Apart from that, since then, I actually haven't drank because, fuck me, I was so depressed the next day.
All right enough. Well, because, I hinted at it there, but you obviously had a bit of a fitness... What's the word? You got really into the whole concept of it. That you liked the Facebook page and everything and just fucking went for it.
Yeah, I've watched 3 Joe Wicks videos.
Yeah.
All the way through.
And had a wank.
Is there more insufferable bastard in the fucking world than Joe Wicks?
Joe Wicks. Do you think a lot of people in Belfast hate him now because in one of his live workouts, didn't he say that Margaret Thatcher was great? And then everybody in Belfast was like, no, and get a haircut, you fucking arsehole.
Did he actually do that?
Yeah, there was like, it went not viral, but there was paper coverage on it where someone asked a question and he said like, "Oh, Margaret Thatcher, a British treasure," or something like that there. It was really like just a really offhand comment, and people here went mental and were like, "Oh, you fucking love Thatcher, you fucking rich."
What do you think? He's going to stop the workout video and just break it down, be like, right, listen, now you have to break down our fiscal policies or economic impact, how popular was she at the time. No, he's doing fucking push-ups.
Yeah.
If you said to me in the middle of the setup, what do you think about Hitler? I'd be like, great lad. 7.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
I think like
his trains were always on time. 9.
The fact that like people were getting so annoyed about his Thatcher remark, I mean, regardless of your sort of ideology, politics wise, you're just like, well, he's from England. So if he's going to like anybody, was a good chance it was going to be her or someone else that was involved in English politics over the years. It's not as if he's going to jump out and be like, "Oh, Michelle O'Neill's fucking brilliant." Ollie Foster, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Here's the thing: see if he had went, Jeremy Corbyn's amazing, people would have read him.
Exactly. Yeah,
people love that. People love that. It's like, you're a fine person if you agree with me, but disagree, and you're fucking scum.
Yeah, you're fucking shite in the end of my foot. That's what you are. I don't know. Did you do any Joe Wicks workouts during your, like, explain the reason behind the whole fitness regime and all that jazz and what you actually did and stuff?
So I was already kind of going to the gym stuff before lockdown because I was a fat cunt, basically, how to break that down. And I was like, nah, I don't want to be, because I wasn't fat in school, but then got fat in uni. But then was like, right, so if I was on the verge of getting very fat. Do you know what I mean? He's carrying a bit of weight, and this is a fat cunt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the start of this year, I started taking it a bit more seriously. Then lockdown happened, and I'd lost a bit of weight, and I was like, I can either completely reverse 3 months of work here, or I can get really into this and stop everything bad I'm doing, because I feel if over lockdown I keep drinking, I keep smoking, you're gonna come out of lockdown a fucking mess.
Yeah.
So I just ended up getting really strict over lockdown. Then when lockdown's over, that routine's still there.
Yeah.
So it was more just keep myself productive over lockdown.
Yeah.
Instead of just fucking, do you know what I mean? Just turn it into, like, I know people still they're on furlough and their days are fucked.
Yeah. I think like there's an importance of, at least using the lockdown I see it as an opportunity to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even someone as boring as fucking the electoral registry, like, at least you can get it done. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone had said you'll have a 3-month period where you can just, even if you're working, you'll still have buckets of time to get shit done. You know what I mean? Because you can't go out to the bar, you can't go out to restaurants, and even going for like your like fucking big shop, you're not going to do that every fucking day because you had to queue. Remember early lockdown, you had to queue to get into Tesco, and everybody was a wanker, and even now you have to wear a mask. So you're going out like once a week, if anything. Like,
it's mad that I already forget what proper lockdown was like.
Oh yeah.
I already forget that, and it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I remember seeing on Facebook, they're like, we've been in lockdown for 100 days, whatever date that was. And I was like, it was so weird that it felt like more and it felt like less at the same time. Yeah. You're just like, I have no fucking idea what day it is now, let alone how far we are into lockdown. Like,
it just felt like one long ass fucking day.
Yeah, it was like just a big bank holiday or some shit, wasn't it? It was really fucking.
Yeah.
It was.
And then now people were gurning about lockdown. Now we're out and they're like, why do I have to wear a mask?
Yes, who am I, fucking Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat? What the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
So the government can see who they can control.
Yeah.
Despite the fact they could fucking pick me off with a rifle, but no, they're making me wear a mask.
I've seen like the amount of people I've seen, because obviously it's technically not a law. Mickey Bartlett was telling me last night, it's not actually a law to wear the mask. They just sort of say it's mandatory. But to see the people getting angry about it, now I can understand if you've got breathing issues, don't wear it.
If you don't.
But see the people that are just like, I'm not fucking wearing a mask. And I'm just like, you must have thousands of balaclava cutoffs that you could just use, the spare bit, and just be like, there you go, job done. Because you cut that bit off for the balaclava. Whatever you throw away, that's your face mask done. It's like the inverse balaclava, I think. To be honest, like.
Yeah. It's like the wee strips you put on yourself getting on a sunbed. Like that.
Yeah.
Just around your mouth and nose.
I seen someone, who was I chatting to? And he said that it's a mate of mine, he said he's got he actually bought like a fabric like face mask on Amazon or something for like £5 or £6 because he was using like the medical issued ones that you can get in all the wee shops and stuff, just a plain white one. But he was like, he described it as being not very comfortable, and in terms of appearance, he says it looked very Always Ultra, like the fanny pads. And it does look like a wee blurt pillow, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, it's that I work in a shop, right? So we've been told we can enforce it. We don't have to, but we can remind people. I am a bit sound about it, right? But there's this guy came in. I was like, mate, it was the first day. I was like, you need to wear a mask, and he just straight away just went, you can't control me. And I was like, this is going to be fucking amazing. Bring him in. He sat me down. I was like, do you not realize that this is all just a ploy by the Democrats to get Donald Trump elected? Because he's trying to arrest all of America's pedophiles. I was like, that's why fucking Dundonald's on lockdown, is it?
Yeah, no, yeah. Dundonald obviously are a huge population and very powerful.
Yeah. So he was like, what you don't realize is these people, they want to control your movement and eat your children. And I was like, be that as it may, mate, you do need to wear the mask. So then he just took his shoe off, tied it around his face, and then gave me a look of like, are you happy? And I was like, yeah, good thing you didn't put the mask on. You would have looked really fucking silly.
Yeah. Tell me this. What sort of shoe was it?
It was a fucking...
Like, was it Doc Marten?
No, it was like, I'm going to say Sketcher, but there was no branding on it. But you know, like that thick. It was packing in the vinegar of the feet, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like... You won't be doing that. Wear some Lely Kellys or something that smell nice. Don't be fucking...
Just a pair of...
Oh, he was... So that's been my first...
or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh my... So
yeah, I just tied it around the back of his head.
So he put the shoe around his fucking beak as if to go like, oh, who's
so like,
fucking... Oh my God.
Yeah, like who's the dickhead now? It's like, you're wearing a shoe in your face. Fucking idiot.
You may as well just fucking put one shoe on each ear and pretend you're an elephant or something like that. You Dumbo cunt.
Yeah, so he just tied it round and was like, where the food hole is where his mouth and nose were.
Did he have, I wonder,
the rest of the shoe was just up. It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm still trying to picture it. So he used the laces to go around his ears?
Yeah.
Jesus
More like,
Christ.
It was very loose as well. Like, he didn't do a great job, but so it was like laces were tied here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was just like a shoe was there.
Fucking hell. And like, did he sort of, because you don't have to say where you work or anything, but what sort of shop was it? So was he in here? Was he in there for a few minutes?
Oh, it was the vaping shop.
All right. And so he went in there, and this is all before you'd even served him or he'd bought anything? Or
he came in, and it was when the mask thing, we were told, and we don't have to, but at the time we were like, we need to enforce this. Mm-hmm. So I just went, sir, you need to wear a mask. And he just fucking flipped. And he's like, I've been in 3 shops today. And I'm like, then surely you should know. Yeah. Are you doing this every time?
Yeah. So he comes in, he loses the bat, but you puts a fucking Ugg boot over his face or whatever the fuck it was.
After he gives me the full Donald Trump will save the world speech.
Yeah. And then after basically goes about the transaction as if he didn't. So he basically still bought the vape oil off you. Is it the vape oil you deal with for the vape pens?
Yeah, vape oil, yeah. So he came in, bought that.
What flavor did he get? Shoe polish?
You know they're mental if they get tobacco.
Oh,
like, if they're coming off it, and you can have any flavor of the fucking world you want, and they're just going, fakes.
Yeah, I just want
fakes.
Get your fakes, mate. Fuck's
sake. Yeah.
What's the weirdest flavors in the vape shop at the minute? Because I assume it's been long enough now that they've really branched out. Like, it's the same way like candles and like shower gels and even hand wash. Like, it's just, here's estrogen and guacamole. You're like, oh, good. You know what I mean? It's fuck.
Yeah. What is the weirdest? There's like a white pistachio nut and cranberry sauce. And it's like, who the fuck?
Firstly, they don't go.
Coca-Cola and fuck off.
Soda Stream or something, or fucking sarsaparilla.
We actually have a brand called Soda Stream.
Do you, right enough?
I think it makes apple bacon lemon tartwell or some weird shit.
Oh my God. You just wonder like how much could it really? Who's like getting that pistachio and cranberry one and going, I'm getting the pistachio, but I'm not getting the cranberry. This is a fucking joke.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have just a pistachio flavor?
Yeah, if you got a curry chip.
Yeah, some of the flavors are amazing. Like it's hard to go now. I couldn't smoke a fig because they're like, "Oh, would you want a fig?" And I'm like, oh, "It's not vanilla ice cream flavored. No, give me some. Give me the blue slush puppy. I can smoke that." It's hard to just go back to figs.
What's your verdict on people? I assume you've seen a lot of this. What's your verdict on the people who vape despite have never smoked, but they vape?
I think it's so silly. I'm like, what are you doing? And it's an increasing thing among children.
Oh, really?
They're really getting into it. But here's the thing: vape industry insights here, guys. You're getting the fucking the scoop. You're not actually allowed to market anything that would be seen as appealing to children.
Right.
So you can't really have cartoon characters. You know what I mean? You can't have. I don't know what children find sexy. You can't have anything of that script.
Is that why Pedophile Hunters NI can't do a sponsored post?
Yeah, if you run into a vape shop, they can't follow you in. So it's a law.
So it is.
So yeah, there's kids that are getting involved in vaping, but the industry also, it's like you're not allowed to really do it. But they'll do it. I had a kid come in, he's like 14, he's like, mate, here's the thing, right? I want to get off the smokes, but I don't want to let my mom down and let her know that I'm smoking, so can you just sell me a vape? And I was like, fucking no.
Jeez, like, what age do you need to be to vape? I mean, is there what's the
18?
You have to be 18 still.
18.
So he comes in as a 14-year-old acting like a seasoned veteran of fags.
But he had that like he had that fucking rasp. He'd been smoking like.
Yeah,
he was like, sure. I don't want to let my mad down. I was like, you fucking too late, son.
Yeah, the damage is done. Like the fact
you look 45 and you're about fucking 13.
Yeah, he looks like he lived through the Troubles, even though he has never been a part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's mental. But particularly like those flavors. I mean, like again, how many are actually legit? I mean, I know you were saying there's a lot that nice, but do you know what I mean?
There's some awful one. Don't get me wrong. Like you can get a nice fucking, if you like blackjack sweets. Every shop does like a decent blackjack, but there's some that are fucking stinking, like properly stinking.
Yeah, but I'm wondering in terms of the people that vape despite having never smoked. I mean, what's the appeal? I mean, they must know that there's still a health risk because you're still inhaling the stuff from a vape pen that like you can charge in your fucking laptop. You know what I mean? Like it's
you're putting burning oil into your lungs.
Yeah, and there must be people out there that go, sure, it's far better, but it must be like that thing where you see people who are on a diet and they get like a salad and then they get like a tin of Diet Coke with, and you're like, again, that's fuck all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's you'll get people like that. They'll come in and they're like, "Oh, this is so much better than smoking," but then they're telling you they've 10 devices and they're constantly puffing on one, and I'm like, that's not any better. Do you know what I mean? Because if you used a vape pen like a fag, definitely better for you. The problem is people get one and it's never out of their fucking mouth, like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like
do you know, there's people just sitting there. It's like sitting watching TV vaping. Like, when would you ever be in someone's house and just spark up a fag on their sofa?
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to think. I mean, in terms of if you're in a bar, you can vape in a bar, can't you?
Nope.
No, you can't. Was there a period you were allowed to do that?
When it first came about, now this would be before I worked in, but I know there was a period when you were first allowed to, and this was before they were really accessible. So a vape pen was like a fucking car battery with a hose pipe coming out of it, and you're just sitting there like,
yeah.
But you can't, because it's still smoking. Do you know what I mean? So you can't just sit there and fucking blow your fucking blueberry bubble all over everyone. You know?
Fucking sarsaparilla or some shit.
But actually, that would be a fucking great flavor.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna get the main man in, just do a main range.
Yeah, do you reckon
American cream soda?
Do you reckon everybody who works for Maine calls himself, I'm the main man, so suck my dick. Get your gob around that. I'll wash
it
it
just
after.
So much more authority than just the term lemonade man, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, just when you say you're the main man, you're like, oh, sucking that. I think like and vape pens are pretty much like mobiles now in terms of like the early days of mobiles and vape pens. They were both massive, big things that you would need like a fucking tow truck to bring them out with. I mean, like some of the first vapes, they looked like the Ghostbusters ghost trap.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They were ridiculous.
And then now they look like fucking, I don't even know, like a toenail clipper. And there's
you just get them like fucking
papaya.
This is just a vape, but it's also a Game Boy Advance, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a fax machine as well, so it's got infrared. So if you want to send me a song,
yeah,
I know. Are you old enough to remember infrared?
I am, but I was the tail end of it.
Yeah,
and I remember standing there for 3 hours so I could get Akon's Lonely as my ringtone, just like that. It's even just for cerebral palsy. I could never make it work because the hand would drop. Yeah, like, for fuck's sake.
Well, let's chat about that a bit. So here's my question. I don't prep for anything, but here's my question: cerebral palsy. Is there a downside?
I thought you were going to go in the really deep chat about infrared.
Yeah, I know.
Like, all right.
He's got a disability. What is it? His lack of knowledge about infrared. But so would you say there's a downside to cerebral palsy?
Oh yeah. Yeah, its connection speed's horrible.
Because it's the worst internet service provider I've ever fucking had. I'm going back to Virgin Media. Yeah, cerebral palsy. Like you could. I wonder if there's going to be anywhere, like a wee ball pool for kids called cerebral palsy. That's a fucking gap in the market there, sir.
I'm setting up my own comedy club called Cerebral Palsy.
I'm going to open a Barbie shop and call it Cerebral Dalsy.
So I'm going to get famous, bring out my own ice cream. It'll be called Cerebral Walsy.
You got a Viennetta, have you? Is that jelly shaking?
No, ice cream.
Is that jelly shaking? No, it's me. Sorry. So, like, you must be. Did you talk about cerebral palsy since you've been doing stand-up? Because I'm trying to figure out when we met. I mean, how long were you doing stand-up before we met? Were you still quite new?
I don't know. I've been doing this. This should have been my 6th year doing it. So 5 years I've been doing it.
Yeah.
I think I met you about a year in, maybe. Maybe I can't remember.
Yeah. Again, it's so weird trying to think back because I think obviously the nature of stand-up, because you're traveling about, you're doing gigs and so many different things where you're in the limelight and then you're in Pugs and then you're down in Derry and then you're in Dungannon or wherever. So I feel like no matter how long you've been doing it, it's a blur. You don't remember. You remember sort of the bigger moments for sure, but in terms of like how you first meet a lot of these people that you've spent a lot of stage time with and a lot of fucking green room time with, you're like, I have no idea. I have no idea how I met half these people. But there are people that you would talk to. Probably there's definitely something about speaking to a comedian. It's different from speaking to friends and speaking to your family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of like if in school you got every class clown and just put them in a room together.
Yeah.
And it's just like 10 people who are almost exactly the same in a way. Like they're all different people, but they all have like one personality trait, which is they're just hyper cons.
Yeah.
And everyone's playing for laughs.
Yeah.
I can hear that rain on my mic.
I can't hear it this sound.
Do you not hear it? That's how then.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? I think the class clown thing, I mean, I think there is a certain element of that for some comedians that you meet on our scene.
Yeah.
But it seems to be, dare I say it, 50-50 maybe in terms of the people that were actually the quieter ones, because I didn't really chat a while lot in school. It wasn't like I wasn't like antisocial, but I wasn't like a class clown for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. You're too busy running about trying to kill Voldemort though. So.
Oh, for sure, yeah, trying to get that bastard Scar. Trying to fucking buck Ron's sister. Like, here, Jenny. Lick my wee beef bagel, would you there? Get stuck in there.
My dead, buck me. It's a line I use as well.
Not wearing a condom, my dad's dead as well. So. Here's my sorcerer's bone. And then just Expelliarmus. You know what I mean? Like, who do you think, just from knowing them, who was the class clowns of any comedians that we sort of frequent on stage with?
Mickey
Who's
Bartlett straight away.
Mickey for sure. Paddy McDonald, 100%. If
Yes.
Actually, you almost need to go to school
for the fucking 3 years he attended school.
That was last year.
Yeah.
Were you a class clown?
Yeah, 100%. This, 100%. Like, me being a comedian is a surprise to fucking no one who went to school with me. Mainly because I would just always go, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Sweet. See, I definitely wasn't, because to the point now where, because I've done a few things here and there that have sort of made its way back to Strabane, there's just confusion amongst people that are like, how the fuck is he doing that? Like, there was, like, I know it's a different skill being like stand-up funny and being funny, but like, I could name about 30 people who were like legit funnier than me. But again, I suppose, how does that translate to doing comedy?
Yeah, there's also people I'd be like, they'll come up to me and be like, oh, this guy's really funny, he should do stand-up. And then you speak to them and you're like, you're a gimp. Stop talking. Yeah. Stop trying so hard. Go away.
Yeah, it's definitely that thing. It's like the amount of people that say, you know, I should be a comedian, or be told they should be a comedian. How many of them have actually went on and done it? It's usually the people that either just decide, I'm going to go fucking do it, or yeah, that's basically it. You know, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, like, he should be doing stand-up, but it never really comes to, you know, it never really happens, does it?
Yeah, like, the perfect comedian is the finest line between normal and mental.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, the best ones are normal.
Yeah.
And they're blurring that line. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just kind of over it a bit. And then you'll get your fucking pure mental cunts. Or you'll get people who are too normal to do stand-up, and they're like, you don't get what jokes are.
Yeah, they don't.
You know what I mean? You can't see the funny side of it.
Oh, like the amount of like open micers you see, and they're telling a story, and I'm like, you don't see where the joke is, which is fair enough because they're new, and then you never really see them again. You know what I mean? But who else was definitely a class clown? You, McDonald, Bartlett. Definitely not McCartney. Definitely not.
No.
See McKegney, James McKegney, no. Robbie McShane, no. Geordie Robinson, no. I would be surprised if any of those were. No, not. Like,
McCann? Was McCann? I wonder.
I don't know. Like, I think McCann's got that ability to be, everybody likes him. So there is maybe a platform for him to do it. But I don't know if I don't know if he would have had the sort of the confidence back then to do it.
Yeah.
Or, do you know, to be the class clown? I think he was probably funny just in conversation, but to try and please everybody, I don't know.
Whereas I very much was like Mickey and Paddy, just being like, everyone fucking look at me now. Okay, I'm being funny. See this? That was very much me.
Plus, I think what you were saying there is quite interesting about the whole, you know, the line between sort of being normal and mental. But again, you could come into stand-up with a perfect balance of that, and then you run the risk of the mental thing, and then you sort of have to embrace that, but realize where you are, because people who don't do comedy won't understand that as a comedian, if something serious happens in your life, you don't really process it the same, because you're thinking the material. Yeah. Like when my dad had the stroke, he had a stroke on a Tuesday, and then I did Pug Uglies on the Thursday, and I was talking about it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But people would say I'm a psycho for doing that.
No, yeah, I totally get that. My first ever gig was the day my mum died.
Oh fuck, was it?
I was the 18. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was on stage that night, because that to me is just something you do. You know, it's easier for me to do that than to process. It's kind of sad in a way, because we don't process things properly. Instead of people being like, you should be sad at that, like that, I'm like going, I'm a bit sad, but also, isn't this a bit funny? Like, you're not really taking the time to go to yourself, be sad about that.
Yeah.
I mean, my dog died last month.
Yeah.
And my sister's annoyed me because I keep joking about it. And she's like, it's too soon. And I'm like, it's not though, he's fine. Well, he's not fine, he's dead. But you know what I mean? It's fine to joke about. Although the more it goes on, the more I'm like, am I just the fucking sociopath here?
I worry about that myself quite a lot. Where and it's not like, it's not as if you're disagreeing with a person. There's something about you where, like, because you're trained to see the comedic value in everything. And trying to keep that under wraps sometimes is fucking difficult. You know, like I can understand the aspect of being able to talk about something serious on stage. There is a therapeutic vibe to it, and usually, you know, because you've got a bit of an adrenaline about it, most of the time you don't even need to write anything. If you just think of, here's like, I didn't write anything about my dad having the stroke. I just talked about his reaction to it and all the legitimate things he said. And sure, that was a good chunk of my last Limelight show was him having a stroke.
Wasn't that a lot of his eating fleece? Isn't that where that came from?
He's got, the eating fleece, and then the bit about him saving a lot of money because he was in hospital, and he's like, I've saved a fortune from being in here. You know, honestly, he was like, honestly, God, man, he was just like, the amount of money I saved in here. I was like, I thought he was going to book a holiday. If he had any mobility and coronavirus didn't exist, he'd be in Crete now, just fucking with his fleece
still
on.
Have the fleece on and I'm fucking rooting.
This is my eating poncho. You know, so yeah, that's definitely something that I don't think enough comedians talk about, is that ability to go, I was able to get material out of this, but then put that aside and actually fucking process the shit that went down. Even it could be something very serious or something minor where you're like, you know, you could lose your job, or you know what I mean, bereavements and stuff like that. It's definitely something that I don't think enough people talk about.
I completely agree, because I know a lot of stand-ups like to act like, oh, I'm just a funny guy. I'm fully aware that you don't get to do this without being some form, or like I said, some form of mental. Mm-hmm. If you're not, you know, a bit sociopathic and laugh at everything, there's something else going on. Do you know what I mean? 100%. It's like when all these stories, like, can you believe all these comedians, like Chris D'Elia is maybe abusing people who's a bit mental? I'm like, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I obviously disagree with a lot of the behavior, but I agree with you. I'm not surprised. Like, I don't understand the shock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like,
it's Louis, like when Nolan came out, he's like, I licked 20 bags of crisps. I'm like, I fully expected that to be something that you would do.
Yeah, and you didn't pay for them, you dirty bastard. Like,
Also, eat one. Don't lick 20. Eat one.
Yeah, just eat one. Do you know what I mean? Has he put the weight back on now? I haven't seen him in a while, but he lost a lot of weight.
He definitely has. The way he lost it was unsustainable.
What was he doing?
Completely unsustainable. As far when I looked up, I remember reading about his workout routine. 750 calories a day, which I'm pretty sure were liquid.
Oh, like a fucking juice diet or some shit?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, those are fine if you're like going on holiday in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And you just want to shed a little bit of extra shit.
Yeah.
See, as a sustainable, that's not what he should have been doing. But he's too impatient. He's like, I want to lose 10 stone in 4 months. And you're like, well, Stephen, you're 28 stone. It's going to take you a while. It took you that long to get 28 stone. It will probably take you as long to get back from it.
Plus, he's not exactly a young man. So even working out is not going to be as beneficial. He's going to have to work 10 times harder at that weight, at that age.
Yeah.
To see the effects. It's not as if he was 25 and maybe had like a 3-month program of real strict diet and exercise, it'd probably see a significant change for sure. Like what was your, you know, in terms of your nutrition and your like exercise, did you hire a trainer or anything, or is it just going back?
No, I hired a trainer mainly for accountability. I know how lazy I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the mindset of, if I'm spending money on it, then at least I will be held accountable and I'll keep doing it. And I'm in the habit. I could probably do it without the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
But working out with a trainer, it's like I would have dropped this bar 2 sets ago, but he's not letting you. So it's kind of forcing yourself to get whipped into shape. And I like that because I'm too lazy to do things by myself. And I know that.
Yeah.
So I'm happily, I'll pay someone to do that for me. But in terms of nutrition, I think I was on about 1,600 a day. Very high protein, not very low carb initially, and very low carb at the minute because I'm trying to go for abs. Very fucking hard when you're 5'4".
If you get abs, that's basically abs in your head. Like abs on 5'4" will come up to your just the base of your chin.
Yeah.
I
I just look like a really nice stack of ribs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would look gross. But that's what I'm going for. So at the minute, I'm 1,200 calories a day, under 50 carbs, 200 grams of protein.
Yeah.
But that's an extreme diet that I'm doing this month. I'm not doing that. You couldn't live off that and be happy. It's very fucking miserable.
Yeah, it's a short-term sort of thing.
Yeah, this is me on an extreme diet, and it's still double what he was having. And he is for sure heavier than me.
I would say so. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
just going off.
Eyesight's not great, but do you know what I mean? I have a feeling he might be, I'm not good at maths, maybe a stone or two heavier.
Yeah, he's got a bit of weight on me, so he does.
That's just his ego.
I loved his obsession with wearing shorts when he lost the weight.
I think they were just like his old jeans or something, to be honest, because I think he just lost that much weight off the legs. He lost height and everything. They're just a pair of his old fucking Wranglers. Are you like? Do you actually have to like weigh your food and all that shit? Do you have to be that specific in terms of like?
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Is that a pain in the hole, or do you just used to it now?
Once you're used to it, once you come in, if you're coming in from work, I'm kind of glad gigging's off at the minute because now I can focus on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's once you're in from work and you come in from the gym, it is a fucker. They have to stand there for an hour, weighing everything out, putting it in the boxes, marking it that it's this. But it's worth it because that's what I found before when I used to eat like shit. It wasn't necessarily that I wanted shit, but it was always busy and I hadn't eaten, so I'm just grabbing something.
Yeah, the convenience of it.
Out of convenience, do you know what I mean? And even this month, I've seen it, like, the government's going in, like, everyone lose weight, by the way, 20 chicken nuggets for £3.
Yeah, that's
do you know what I mean?
Big thing. Yeah. I think, so your diet was obviously bad prior to getting stuck into like the healthy stuff, but was it like...
It was fucking horrendous to even call it a diet.
So like what were you eating beforehand and what are you eating now? So I can just gauge the actual difference. Like what was a standard day for Willie T pre-regimen?
Yeah, I'll give you like, when I really put on the weight was when I was a student, right? So I'll give you wake up, you're drinking. Actually, here's the thing, student, I didn't really eat that much until about 2 a.m. I'd order a Chinese because I'm stoned out of my mind.
Right.
And then that was it for me. It was the not eating for ages, and then you're starving, then you eat shite, then you're drinking, then you're eating shite, then you're drinking. It was years of just not looking after yourself.
Yeah.
And eventually that accumulates up. And because I'm so small, I know a lot of people can carry that weight. I can't. I have to keep myself in really good shape, otherwise I look round as shit.
I suppose at your height, it would be, even if you put it on a touch, that wouldn't, if it wasn't even deemed that bad, it would probably look worse on you.
I have days, like even now, where if I've had a big meal before, people are like, fuck, what, you've put a bit of weight on? I'm like, I just need a shit, boy.
Yeah, I'm just bloated. I'm just fucking... It's definitely a difficult thing to get into, the whole health eating thing, because, was there any foods that you're eating now that you swore you'd never eat? You know what I mean? Like, because I know people would struggle to implement veg into their diet, and people go like, "Oh, I can eat carbs, so I can have a cheeseburger," and you're like, "Well, that's not. You have to eat good carbs, like sweet potato and all that shit." So, was it much of a challenge for you to implement all that shit?
It was very much a slow, and here's the thing, people, and this is the mistake I would say people make, and I'm no fucking expert. I'm only saying what works for me. People, like I said, New Year's, they're going, I'm off the drink, I'm off the smoking, and I'm doing everything healthy.
Yeah.
Can't do that because you will get fucking bored of it because it's very boring.
Yeah.
Give yourself 2 weeks of just doing some new habit. Be it, I need to put more greens in. That's what I did. I'm like, I need green in everything I eat for 2 weeks. I need something green. Now I just eat broccoli, really. I fucking hate broccoli. But and this is the thing, health eating doesn't need to be boring. You just need to watch what you're putting in it. You can make nice shit. Fajitas are fine.
Yeah, fajitas are spot on.
Old El Paso has fuck all calories to it, bit high in your salt.
Yeah.
You can make fajitas most nights.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Particularly like,
so
when I do fajitas, I do like even the mix myself. So I'm controlling the salt, peppers, nothing wrong with them. And then I have a wee bit of like avocado and stuff like that. And I fuck
sweet corn into it because I'm a sweet corn boy. I love it. But that's, I mean, it's as simple, or even I would still get a Subway every day because there's one right beside my work. I just get a salad.
Yeah.
You know, it's little things like that. It takes, 2 weeks to form a habit? You have to, for 2 weeks, the 2 weeks that you're first doing a habit are the hardest. And once you get into the habit, you don't even fucking think about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
You're just that used to doing it.
Yeah.
Drinking the water.
Drinking water is invaluable. And I agree with what you're saying there in terms of there is people out there, and it's particularly like at the New Year, New Me fucking thing, where people are like, I'm not eating any carbs, no takeaways, no drink, no lemonade. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And they've done too much too fast. But if you just go start drinking more water today, and then tomorrow maybe have a bit more protein, so have a better breakfast, have some oats or eggs. Then the day after, go for a 10-minute run. Do you know what I mean? As you say, build it up, because particularly
hit your steps.
Like if you're not training for a marathon or anything, you can really kind of take your time and build up stamina. Like that's when I did that couch to 5K thing, and it was because I wasn't training for anything. I was like, well, this is 9 weeks, and to be honest, I only started it because Lisa was all, I'm doing this couch to 5K thing, and she was going for a run down at the Odyssey, and we hadn't she was like, I haven't went for a run since I was like secondary school. She's like, I feel really fucking, she was like, I feel self-conscious about it. Like, she was like, I don't know why. She's just, I feel like I'm going to look like Phoebe and Friends in that episode. She's like, I
run like me.
Yeah. She to the chippy. But she was really self-conscious about it. She was like, see, just for this one run, would you mind just coming along with me and tell me I don't look like an idiot and I don't look as weird if I'm running with someone? So I was like, no worries. So just I wasn't really keen, to be honest, and then kind of enjoyed it. But then I was going, well, I can do this. I mean, it only asks you to run 3 times a week. And the most you'll ever be doing, which is obviously the final week, is half an hour. So you're like, if you can't find half an hour, and it's not as if they're saying run as quick as you can. It's like, just keep running for the time they tell you. So go as slow as you want. Stay comfortable. Stick on the fucking Hamilton soundtrack or whatever the fuck, and just do it. Do you know what I mean? That's what suited me. Where I was like, it's not really asking me to keep pushing myself, because you just naturally do it. Your stamina, slowly but surely. So even like the first week, I'd say when I was idle and just kind of running slowly, it was probably piss poor. Whereas now, if I feel I'm running slow, it's probably night and day to the first week. Does that make sense? Because I kind of just did it slowly, and I just made sure that because I was running that day, I had plenty of water. And when I came back from the run, I made sure that I didn't eat some shite. So it was usually an omelette, just very, very simple omelette. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And all that protein was like 4 egg omelette. And then the weight just kind of fell off me. I was put back on a wee bit now, but do you know what I mean? I feel definitely people just do too much too fast.
My advice would be to people too is they'll do that, they'll go really hard for like a week and then they'll have a cheat meal or something and then they go to shit.
Yeah.
My advice would be don't beat yourself up, because I've done it. Do you know what I mean? I still do it. I'll come back in from a train session, have a couple of chocolate biscuits, and I'm like, well, that has just completely undermined my entire session. But you don't then go, well, fuck it, I'm now just gonna order a full Chinese. Like, allow yourself mistakes. People just have this idea that you have to be fucking perfect with it.
Yeah.
But it's a learning curve. Do you know what I mean? I'm still learning. I know shit all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's difficult to know anything really. I know I say with a trainer, it's certainly a lot clearer. But if you didn't have any real sort of research done, even on your own, you go on the internet. The internet's so conflicting about everything, particularly in terms of
100%.
And all it takes is one website to disagree with what you believe in, and then you kind of don't know what to think. So there could, say you look at 100 websites and they all say burpees are brilliant for you for burning fat, and you can do them in the house. If you're pushed for time, blah 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 blah. All it takes then is one website to go, burpees don't do fuck all, don't do them, and then you're like, should I even do burpees? Like, and you feel conflicted. It's the same thing as like if you go on TripAdvisor to look at like a restaurant, say you're looking at Sticks and Stones in Belfast, and you read 100 reviews and 99 of them are 5-star, going, this is the best food you'll ever have in your life. But then there's one review that was like, oh, it was all right. You'd be like, I don't think I'm going to go there now. Do you know what I mean? It's so fickle. It's a fickle thing.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And that's the thing, like, I'm a fucking decently smart dude, and I couldn't understand the fucking information I was being given.
Yeah.
I have done every fucking fad diet there is. I've done the soup diet, your fucking keto diets, your liquid diet. I tried for a long time to lose the weight quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it just does not work.
No, it doesn't.
It is fucking miserable. It's shit, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The best thing is fucking... it's silly as it sounds, water, vegetables, and fucking exercise are the best thing you can do.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
You can implement them. I think that's obviously why Joe and your man Joe Wicks is so popular, in that he sort of seemed to twig that you don't have to exercise for that long, and you don't even have to cook healthy meals for that long. See the amount of people I know that weren't training for anything, by the way, but they just went to like steamed broccoli, chicken in the oven in tin foil, and then maybe a bit of brown rice. Like brown rice was the treat, and they do that. And I'm like, well, I appreciate that that's healthy and it's clean, but it's boring. And
that's what I'm doing now. And Luke, is this the face of a happy fucking dude?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very unhappy at the moment.
But they've been doing it for years, and I'm just going, and they're my age, and I'm just kind of thinking, like what you're doing is obviously there's a short-term vibe to that. We're like, for the next couple of weeks, I'll do this and then build back to something. But I don't want to look back in like my 20s and be like, well, I had a lot of chicken. No, you need to like enjoy yourself. And how can you do that? If you're eating chicken, broccoli, and maybe brown rice, you're obviously going, well, I'm not going out at the weekends for drinks. If I go to the cinema, I'm not even getting any fucking popcorn. I'm just, you don't want to look back and go, I didn't really do anything, but I got so healthy, I can ejaculate lentils. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I use the splurge method, which is I will have a date planned, say 2 weeks in time, or, if they got this specific thing coming up, and I'm like, be strict until then, go mental that day, and maybe the day after. Then you're strict again.
Yeah.
Because I'll if it's drink or if it's just a cheat, like I won't have like, I'll have a wee KFC burger, but I have a cheat meal. I'm talking like you're getting the crisps in, you're getting the dessert in, we're getting takeaway, and then I'm gonna eat yours as well. Like I eat so much that I'm so ill the next day that I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
And I do that with everything.
I even found, like, I don't know if you've had this, but like during the couch thing, I say I wasn't going overly mental in terms of nutrition, but I just knew drink loads of water. If you're going to have some sort of treat, even if it's a couple of digestives, make sure it's the evening when you've done a day's work and you've had a couple of healthy meals in you. And when you're having a coffee, just, enjoy it then. But I even found when I was like, well, this weekend I'll get a Chipco or something like that there. And you're sitting there going, happy days, I haven't had a chippy in a while, and I've been clean all week and blah, blah, blah. And then there's something about it where you're like, that was grand, but it was grand. No, it doesn't really hit the heights that you expect it to. You know what I mean? And then you feel really like, you feel very wary of like the amount of salt that takeaways have because you've been eating clean. Did you notice that?
Honestly, nothing. And I think that's more of a problem with the fast food. We're turning this into a very fucking scientific one. Like, see McDonald's. See if you don't eat McDonald's for like a month. The idea of a McDonald's fucking turns me now because I'm not steaming or hungover.
Yeah.
As a sober human, the idea of a McDonald's is fucking repulsive.
Yeah.
See if you have one. See if you have 2 McDonald's in a week, you could easily go for 3. Easily. There's something, I don't know what it is. There's something in that food that is addictive as fuck. Like, and once you're in that habit of chain eating shit, because you can't burn that out. You can't want 800 calories a sitting. You got to do fucking 20 miles in the treadmill. I'm not burning that off.
Exactly. So do you feel then, we don't really know when stand-up's going to be a thing, but in terms of coming back, but pre all this shite, do you find that like it's hard to maintain any sort of healthy eating when you're out doing stand-up, when you're home late at night? You might have had a beer or two, or you go to Frango. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard, to be honest.
I was getting better at it. But like I said, this having stopped was a lot easier. Now I feel like I do it fine.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to get away from drinking all the time and eating shit all the time, to be constantly surrounded by all that, the only person I know that does it is Shane, and I'm pretty certain that's because he can't with most things. Everyone else, everyone else isn't that. Everyone else, we probably go for a pint, after a gig or during a show.
I think it's handy that nearly everybody, you look at like the sort of group of, let's face it, the group of lads, you know what I mean, controversially, that always do, like, we always do the charity gigs and stuff to much alignment.
Yeah, we're not very diverse. I mean, I'm disabled, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, but we're funny, so that's the difference.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've got a blurt. Hire me. Here's the
thing,
I think it's so weird. Like everybody's kind of on the same page about that whole post-gig vibe now. Like the only time there's any serious sessions is like the comedians do at Christmas.
Yeah.
But there used to be a time where post-Lavery's, you always had pints, you always went to Frango, and that was everybody.
Yeah.
And you used to stick around because you're like, well, if everyone else is having a beer and then we're getting Frango, happy days. And even like Kieran Bartlett would be there and he wasn't even drinking. He's like, well, I'll just stick around because the crack was always good. So you had people that are like, I'll stick around for a few years. And You know what I mean? Whereas now I feel everybody at the same time just started to, pardon me, not do that as often anymore. It just seemed to dwindle quite a bit. But I remember being in Frango after every Lavery's gig I ever did for a couple of years. Like,
yeah, when was my first Lavery's? Because I think by the time I started, that had kind of died down. Well, not that I wasn't in with the group really at that time, but
yeah,
I know what you mean. The only times we'll meet up after is either it's like a big gig or someone's birthday.
Yeah, true. What's your?
What I love about what was it?
I know you go ahead, right?
I was gonna say, what I love about all comedians, like, and this seems to be true around the board. As soon as we're a bit steaming, we'll buy drinks for anyone.
Oh, for sure. Like we go on as if we're the most like financially flamboyant people. Where if anything, we've got less than the people we're buying for.
Yeah. What's up, mate? You're an accountant. I just did 10 there. Have a fucking shampoo.
Have a fucking espresso martini.
Yeah. Someone comes over to give you a compliment and you feel the need to buy them a drink. And it's like, this should be the other way around.
Yeah, it's mad. I think, and particularly, I think that's mostly a Lavery's thing. I feel like the Lavery's crowd, you know, there's something about them because I think obviously the Northern Irish comedy crowd now is ridiculously different to when even 4 or 5 years ago. No, people come out now and they genuinely love going to see comedians, and there's people that'll come to see you 6 or 7 times in a row and then go see like your solo show, and you're like, you've heard all this.
And you're like, what are you doing?
Because I remember
I've been one of those people too.
Yeah, because I was speaking to people going, I'm so sorry that you've probably heard all that before, because obviously when you do, like, you know yourself, when you play like live nights, your ticket sales are a bit dear, and you know there's a bit more of an event to it, and you know people have got babysitters and blah blah blah. And then you go, you've heard about 90% of that. But then most people just said to me, oh, we like seeing where it ends up. So they like hearing, say, your Breaking Bad joke when you first did it, and then see it in the solo show and see it as a proper bit and in the terms of the whole set. Do you know what I mean?
I genuinely couldn't think of the joke you meant there. I don't think I've done that joke in about 2 years. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I was like, oh shit, that is a decent joke. I have completely forgot about it.
So it's so weird because I was thinking about before we started recording, I was like, I was going to ask you what are your favorite bits of yours? And I was trying to think, because anytime I
hate all my bits.
Yeah, because you get people that love them. I'll not name names, but you get people that love their own stuff. But like I think most of the time,
I don't think I've ever written the only joke I've written I think is decent is the ISIS girl joke I've written, and it's just such a silly blame game style joke.
What is it? Because again, I was going to say that like anytime I've seen you, it's mostly when you're MCing, so you're mostly just doing crowd work. Anytime I've seen
you, even when I'm doing a spot, I'm doing crowd work because I'm fucking borderline ADHD. But the joke is, it's about the girl who left England to go join ISIS, and an English guy comes up to me, he's like, mate, would the people of Northern Ireland accept that? And I was like, you want to know if someone who's in a terrorist organisation could come back in?
That's right.
I said, not only would we let her back in, she get fucking elected.
Yeah. That's right. I heard that. Yeah. I think have you got any bits that you personally loved over the years that just never worked? and you had to cut them because you were like, for fuck's sake, this isn't getting the reaction it deserves.
Yeah, I had the bit when I was bigger that when someone asked me, is like, you know, would you stop eating so much if you thought girls would fancy you more if you were skinnier? And I was like, nah, because kebabs taste better than vaginas.
Yeah, but you don't do that anymore?
No, I stopped doing that. I stopped doing it because I did it when I was really, really big.
Yeah.
And when you're only a wee bit chubby, fat jokes only really work if you are fat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't come out now and do the old set because people are like, you're not fat. Do you know what I mean?
That must be a real thing if you're a comedian and then your appearance or your circumstances dramatically change, where you're like, well, this part of my comedy identity is based on where I'm working or the fact that maybe I'm a bit bigger or have a certain look or something like that there. But what if I came out stage next week and I had shaved my head and wasn't wearing my glasses? Do you know what I mean? It would feel like a different comedian. You're going,
please do that.
Do you know what I mean? I'd love to do that. I look like fucking American History X or something.
I was going to say, you went full fucking sag heel. I love it.
Yeah, pure skin, pure Millwall supporter.
Yeah, that's something I was gonna try and do material about losing weight, but then ended up not doing it because it just sounds like I'm sucking my own dick.
Yeah,
I think comedy needs to come from a bit of vulnerability, personally.
100%. Yeah.
So it's then hard to come out and go like, I'm feeling so much better and I've lost weight. So everyone's gonna be like, ugh.
Well, you see, don't. I think that sort of material would work anywhere but here, because
I fully agree.
People here don't give a fuck. So they want to hear about your vulnerability or the time that you made a hash of yourself. The amount of people that I've seen on stage, see, if as soon as you talk about the fact that you've been traveling, you know, for something that's not like a stag, a hen, or just a general holiday, but the fact you're like, I went traveling for a year, I went to the Philippines, I went to Vietnam, people are like, don't care. I went to just back from Australia, been away for a few years, don't care. And they do it like material about all those other places, and they're going, don't care. Like people,
because Northern Ireland's such a place. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say people just seem to switch off when that shit comes in.
Yeah, because Northern Ireland's such a place where there's people who have never left that fucking town or that fucking street that they live on.
Yeah.
Even in like where I live, there's people that are like that. You know, there's people who get angry about things. I'm like, yo, there is a world outside of East Belfast, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think when you go to rural towns, that gets even worse.
Oh, like in Strabane, it's mad. You have people that like in Strabane that only go shopping in the one place and they only go for pints in the one place. So there's people like, say, Strabane Golf Club is terrible for like, because Strabane Golf Club, you can go in for your lunch and stuff on a Sunday. But if you're not a regular there, it is like that classic thing where you feel like the music has stopped and they're just... and they've got like, no, they've got their seat and they've got their like own own pint glass or their own tankard for the beer, and they're like, fill that and shit like that. And you're like, they're so territorial about it. Like even when I worked in the bingo hall, it was a war zone, man. Like you would usually get like the Strabane bingo, you get the woman that would come in during the day and like put some of their shopping bags on their seats to keep the seats. This is like 4 hours before bingo kicked off. They come in, you know, because it was like day bingo, which they didn't go to. But we used to get buses of people coming down for like Oma and stuff like that there to come down and play bingo. Sad, I know. But you get the Oma people who are none the wiser and occasionally would just go, well, there's a load of
a seat.
Yeah, I would sit there and man, war zone, man. Pure carnage.
I've heard a lot of people saying like, you don't know Vicious until you see Old Lady Bingo Vicious.
Man, it's fucked.
That sounds like a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Old Lady Bingo Vicious.
Old Lady Vicious, fuck me. Live from the Europa Hotel is Old Lady Vicious versus Big Bap Maureen. Stone Baltic Steve Austin.
The Rock throwing it.
The Block. I'm just trying to. I suppose any Northern Irish wrestler, you could be, if you want to be a divisive wrestler amongst the people in Ireland, you could be called Triple Hitch or Triple H.
I'm annoying myself that I can't think of it. I know so many wrestlers and can't think of any fucking puns.
Here, with plenty of time, I think. Under Kane, I suppose Kane would probably be just the same, probably. Who else? I'm just, again, my sort of. Are you into wrestling?
Yeah, embarrassingly big amounts, yeah.
I was into it back in the day. Like the last time I watched wrestling, I was lent it on video, and it was Survivor Series 2001 or something like that. And the
only reason WCW, WWF,
something like that. I just remember I just liked a lot of the music. So this is when The Undertaker was still coming into Rolling by Limp Bizkit.
Rolling.
And then Drowning Pool, Bodies was the big theme.
Bodies.
What's the
Beautiful People, Marilyn Manson was on there
Beautiful
too.
People, shit band, but My Sacrifice by Creed.
Oh, my friend. This is the nerdiest thing ever, but there was a wrestler called Sin Cara, and he used to be really shit. And that song used to be on every tribute video. Someone made a tribute video of just him fucking up moves for 4 minutes. And it's the best thing.
I was thinking about like when I worked at Metallica when they last played the Odyssey, and
I thought you meant in the band.
Yeah, I was just I did their
Metallica.
I did the tuck shop for Lars. But you know the way, like, when Metallica did their set, they played like what's their fucking Thin Lizzy cover? Whiskey in the Jar. Whiskey in the Jar. But I'm thinking, like, obviously they already had that, you know, in their discography. But I wonder, is there bands like Creed that would say play the Limelight and think we need to maybe do a local tune to get the crowd on side? You know what I mean? Or just to fire in a wee cheeky cover. So wouldn't it be great if, like,
would you like to hear Creed doing "She Said" by the Soul Doctors?
I used to love her.
Going on.
I just love the idea of Cascada live from the box going on doing to come out you black and tans or something.
Here, that would be fucking class.
That would be lit to the tit, I think.
Right. Yeah. I apologize. My battery is about to die, so if I go off at any point here, that is why.
We're over an hour anyway, so we just wrap it up? Because I have a feeling my charger...
Yes, because my computer's shit itself.
Yes, no worries, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Right, good to see you, as always.
I really enjoyed that. If you'd like me on again, I would definitely do it. It was very fun.
For sure, man. It should be out. It's got like go straight to Patreon on Tuesday. But I'll do like a wee promo clip and all. So if you want to fire it on your Insta and all that jazz. But yeah, in a couple of weeks we'll get back on and slag Joe Wicks a bit more. Anyway, sure.
Big time. All right. Thanks for having me, man.
You're more than welcome, man. I'll see you soon. All right.
All right. Thank you.
All the best, dude. Bye bye. Bye bye.